This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, we promised you. Yes, sir. Paul Hughes will be joining us, co-main event for Bellator's Champion Series. And Paul, so you're from Australia through Ireland, and now you're in Deerfield Beach, right? Is that how it goes?
You got it. That's some good research. Yeah, I was born in Sydney, Australia. You know, both my parents are Irish. When I was 8 months old, we moved back to Ireland, and I was raised there. So, proper Irishman to the core. But I've got that Aussie passport too, so I'm not complaining.
By the way, isn't that the key to have multiple passports in today's world, right?
Damn right it is. The more the merrier.
You are ahead of the game, my friend. I just want you to know that, because that's what a lot of us should strive for, is multiple passports, actually. So you are good. You know, the other thing, I think Ireland might be one of the most underrated countries in the world. The people are phenomenal. Even your politics are better than what we got going on here in our country. I know the rain.
Wow.
I get the weather stuff and all that, but man, I only hear great stuff about your people in your country all the time, too. Seriously, it's just like I hear a lot.
I appreciate it.
People really enjoy being a part of living there and stuff like that. I actually know a couple.
So here, fun fact on we're talking passports. So where I live in Northern Ireland in Belfast, we actually have access to 2 passports in Belfast or in Northern Ireland. So we can apply for an Irish passport or also a British passport. So I can actually get a British passport if I want. So technically I could have 3, you know. So a little fun fact about the political situation in Northern Ireland, you know.
I gotta tell you, I'm gonna now that we have hooked up here, I'm probably gonna pick your brain in the future. Besides my buddy that lives out there, because I've got U2's next tour. It's bucket list. I'm going to Ireland because I've seen them like 50 times, but I've seen them all over here in North America and in different places. Come on, dude. I got to go to Dublin and see U2 in Dublin. Are you much of a U2 fan?
I'm not. That's not my kind of music, but I mean, of course, they're iconic. Like, they're iconic. Come on.
No, but that's why I asked, because some people assume, every other person loves U2. Actually, that's not the case. So, that's why I asked. But my favorite band. So I can't wait. All right, let's get to fighting. All right, because obviously you got to deal with Bobby King. I don't. You got to deal with him. So talk to me a little bit about this fight. Obviously, being a part of Bellator's Championship Series, which is a really cool thing for you to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's a very, very exciting time for me. You know, this is going to be my debut for the PFL and Bellator. So, I mean, to have the opportunity now to do my debut on home soil in Ireland, where, of course, with the PFL and Bellator Champion Series, they're a US-based company, and the season that they have each year is in the US. So, to have the opportunity to fight in the Bellator Champion Series at home for the first one, it's pretty cool.
So, when I look at your record, right? And this is one of the things that you ask any kind of a fighter, right? Confidence and belief in you. And so when you do suffer a setback, because you're 11-1, so what is it about mindset, getting into that octagon, knowing that you've got to be your best, right? And you need to defeat that opponent. But when you do suffer a setback, how is it that you recharge and rebuild yourself? Because I think it's got to be one of the hardest things in the world. You could lose a job and then go get a job, but losing a fight is different. So I just wonder about a fighter, when you do suffer a setback, to rebuild yourself. How do you go about that?
Look, so it depends on your mindset and who you are. Some fighters who lose, they get shook to the core because they're that attached to their ego. Perhaps they went on a winning streak for 10, 20 fights. They lose a fight, and that's an ego hit then. And that is for certain people. But thankfully, like, what I've understood coming up in my career is like that ego truly is the enemy. Because if I'm in the gym every single day, and I'm just making sure my ego's not getting hit. So I'm just going with guys who are smaller than me, guys that I'm better than, and that's what I do every day. Then I'm inflating this ego, this sense of ego that I have, and ultimately someday that will come crumbling down with a defeat. In mixed martial arts, and look, and in MMA, everybody loses. You're gonna lose at some point. Most guys, unless you're extra special. So it's all part and parcel of the game. You should be losing in the gym every day. If you're not losing in the gym every day, then there's something wrong, you know. So my loss, I didn't really take it as a loss, to be honest. It was a very, very close fight, and you know, I just used that fuel to drive me on, and since that, there's been no hiccups since.
And by the way, as you're growing up and coming up in this thing, you're going to lose a bunch anyways, right? Like in anything that you're learning and all that. So you kind of learn to take those bumps and bruises. But I just wonder how it's different compared to, I don't know, losing your wallet or losing a job. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's depends on how attached you are to your ego, and of course how badly you lose, because you know, you get knocked out in front of millions of people very badly. It's gonna be a little bit harder to take than just taking a decision loss. So it depends on the situation. But look, adversity is the essential ingredient for MMA. You know, you need to be conquering that every single day, and losses are just another opportunity for you to conquer that, you know.
I'm with you, man. And, you know, look, doing this for 34 years, I have a passion for sports. I've talked to all kinds of athletes my entire life, and I love it. You know what I mean? And so talk to me about your passion for this, because there has to be an incredible love for what you're doing, because you are putting your body and, you know, your health on the line, you know, all the time. So talk to me about the passion it takes to do this for a living, because you got to be cut from a different kind of cloth, dude.
You do have to be made of some certain special stuff, some certain special attributes to continue to do this game, not only for a few years, but to make this your career and your vocation in life. You have to be a little bit crazy to do it, in my opinion, you know. But to be honest, it has to come from a place of love. You must love every aspect of this game. If you don't, it's only gonna get you so far, you know. That kind of infinite resource that you have of that love for the game, regardless of how tired you are. You may lose a fight, you're getting beat up in the gym. If you love getting to the gym and training every day, and that's your passion, that's your vocation, that is a very, very important like driver in MMA. That, you know, some people coming up now, they see kind of how the UFC and PFL have gotten so big that they're like, that looks like a kind of luxurious life, make some money, like I'm on TV, I'm hanging out with these celebrities. And if you get into it for them reasons, you know, you're only gonna get so far, because the people who get to the pinnacle of this game are the people that truly love it and love every single aspect of the game. And thankfully, I am one of these people.
You know, you kind of answered the question, because I was going to tell you, what's the gas that fuels you the most when you step into that ring, the crowd, beating somebody, you know, putting them into submission, the training. You know, sometimes it's the art of getting prepared for the whole thing that sometimes some people enjoy. So what's the most fuel to your fire in doing this?
I go through different phases, you know. I did go through many years there, especially the last 2-3 years, where it was definitely me proving it to myself. Because as a young kid coming up in this game with all the potential, I set certain goals for myself, and I was like, it was purely an internal thing. It was an intrinsic motivation that I had to conquer for me, because I told myself when I started fighting professionally at 19 years old, I told myself, look, you have the potential to be a world champion. I believe that you can do it. You can do it. And I had to just believe that. And yeah, that's where my motivation came from. Right now I'm on to the next chapter. I've achieved some of my early goals. Right now, my goals are to set myself and my family up for life. That's now the main driver.
All right, there you go. Bitcoin might help you out too, by the way. Just so you'll know, we were talking a little Bitcoin off the air.
I pay attention.
Paul Hughes, co-main event for Bellator's Champion Series. You're taking on Bobby King. All right, so what's the challenge you see from Bobby King on June 22nd in Dublin, my friend?
Look, Bobby is a very seasoned guy. You know, he's been fighting professional MMA a very long time, probably, I guess, you know, maybe 15 years plus, and he's been in there with some of the best in the world. So I'm expecting an incredibly tough fight. You know, they've matched me with Bobby for a reason, and I think the reason is because he's going to really test me, and I hope he does test me, because I really want to show my skills, and I want to prove just how damn good I am, and to do that at home, you know, create a little bit more of an atmosphere, you know, with a better scrap. That's what I foresee.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why I want to see you two in Dublin. I've seen him here in Miami. I've seen him in New York. I've seen him in Los Angeles. But I would imagine seeing you in Dublin would be a little bit more special, just like Paul Hughes fighting in Dublin. It can't get more special than that. By the way, is there more pressure? Not because you're fighting Bobby King, because you're in your country, you're in your backyard. I'm sure people you love will be there also in the arena. But that's, you know, Paul, you kind of added a little extra pressure to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, there's more pressure there fighting at home and being my debut for the PFL and Bellator. So there's always added pressure, but I want all the pressure. You know, any of the big nights I've had in my career, the world title fights, the huge rematches, anytime there is more pressure, that is when I perform. So I welcome it.
Big news, Paul Hughes. What's the goal, baby? What's the goal for your career? What's the pinnacle for you?
Undisputed, best on the planet, no questions asked, best 155er in the world, and millies in the bank, and maybe some Bitcoin as well, you know.
There you go. I like it. Bitcoin in the cold wallet, money in the bank, and he's set to go. It's a beautiful. Now, will you stay in Deerfield, or will you be going back and forth, you know, to love Ireland too?
Of course. So I live in Belfast. My team is there, Fight Academy. Shout out to them guys. And I come here to Kilcliff also for parts of my training camp. So I've got like the perfect best of both worlds right now. So I'm very, very grateful for everybody that helps me out.
The heat worse here in South Florida or in Australia?
South Florida for sure. Damn,
really,
it's humid up here at times. For sure, for sure.
They don't have. I've never been to Australia. They don't have our humidity, right? Is that what it is?
Nah, they don't have the humidity for sure.
Yeah, that humidity is a bitch here, dude. Man, that thing just you shower and you walk out and you're taking a second shower.
It's crazy. Bro.
It is crazy. Hey, Paul, how can people follow you on social media, stay in contact with you? Talk to us a little bit about that.
It's all the same. It's at Paul Hughes MMA. That's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all that fun stuff.
Okay. All right. Good stuff, man. And of course, June 22nd, Dublin. Of course, the Bellator Champion Series. He's going to take on Bobby King. He is big news, Paul Hughes. Paul, thank you for taking some time, my man. Good luck to you, my friend. And who knows, maybe we'll run into each other in Ireland when I'm visiting. You never know. Perhaps.
Here, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Thank you, my brother.
Peace out, bro.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.